What's up, guys? It's Mocha Seattle back making another video. Today I'm gonna do a Madden 20 wish list. I'm gonna make two videos. One on franchise improvements I'd like to see. Like the top 5 franchise improvements I like to see, and then top 5 gameplay improvements I like to see. I asked in chat which one you guys would rather see first. You guys said franchise, so that's what this one's gonna be about. There's gonna be this is just my game versus the Bengals I played a couple weeks ago, so that'll just be playing in the back since I don't really have much footage to put in the background. So gonna be mostly just me talking. So let's get right into it. First off, I have an honorable mention. First, it's playbooks. The playbooks in Madden have been trash for a long time. I know a lot of you feel the same way about the playbooks. They're pretty garbage. Some of them are okay. Personally, I've used the Seahawks playbook for the past 2 Maddens, just the entire Madden. And I like the Seahawks playbook, but it's not the best. Like, they really need to add in concepts that are run a lot in real life, like jet sweeps, fake jet sweeps, pick plays, run pass option. That'd be really cool, really refreshing to add into the game. Like my playbook, you'll probably see as I'm if you're just watching the footage in the background, but it has a few formations I like it has 3 2 tight end formations from the shotgun that I like a lot. But other than that, it's kind of bland. It doesn't have very many things I really like to run. Like I have one thing I'm disappointed is it doesn't have any sort of jet sweep or wide receiver run, so I'm really missing out on like a big portion of things I could do with like Tyler Lockett. Yeah, it's just they just need to update the playbooks and make them overall a lot better in the future. I like this formation I'm in right now. It's got it's I form, but it has 3 receivers, except there's only like a few plays in it that I actually like to run. I like the formation concept, but the plays in it aren't very great. And then, okay, the first one, number 1 on the list. These aren't in any like particular order from like most I'd like to see to none. But just first on the list is offensive and defensive coordinators. So like NCAA. So I do have a clip for this one. It's from Mr. Hurricane. He made a Madden 20 wish list too, like a couple months ago. And yeah, he uses this clip from his NCAA dynasty, and I'd really love to see coordinators get put into the game. Coordinators, just like NCAA, they can help your players. It doesn't have to be too insane. They don't have to give your players an insane amount of increased ratings, but it'd be really cool to have like a unique, have every coach be unique, and then have coordinators in the game. That can help boost your players for your scheme and stuff like that. So the next one I have is fixing regression. I think they toned it down a little bit this year, which is good, but I still think that regression is a little bit too hard. It just makes it so hard to keep around, to justify keeping around older players, because or giving them longer, like anything longer than a 1 or 2 year contract once they pass 30, because you just know that regression's gonna hit them so hard that it's just impossible for them to be as good of a player as a lot of rookies just entering the NFL. And I mean, obviously that's how it is in real life a little bit, like the older generation is replaced by the new generation, but that's not but the older generation doesn't just leave once they're 30, like, especially quarterbacks. Like, just because a quarterback's over 30 doesn't mean he has to start losing throw power, losing all his speed. Like, he should start getting a little bit slower. Like, Russell's not, he's not in his 20, he's not 24 anymore, running for 800 yards every season, but he's still very fast, and he's still going to outrun like half the linebackers in the league right now. So, but I'm sure by the 5th year of our franchise in MSPA, he's going to be like 70 speed, or not. Well, no, he probably won't be 70, but like 75 or 80 speed. And I think that's just a little annoying, because especially with how many fast guys come out in the draft, like extremely fast guys, 96, 95 speed. It's impossible for the big guys to, or not big guys, older guys to like keep up with them when they're losing 2 speed every year. Once a cornerback, like a top cornerback like Patrick Peterson or Richard Sherman turns 30 or 31, they're down to 88 speed, and it's just like you just have to move them to safety, because once you're 3 years into the league, everyone has a 95 speed receiver, because they just love to have those fast receivers. So, and it's just and they just can't keep up no matter how good their coverage rating, no matter how bad that receiver's route running is. They'll never be able to keep up with them just because of their speed. So I'd really like to see regression fixed. Like, I like that superstars do regress slower and stuff like that. But I still think it's just it's too drastic, and it's and some of the ratings that go down don't even make sense. Like ET3 after the first year, he turned 30 or 31, and he lost like 4 zone coverage. Like, how does that even make sense? He just decided to get worse at coverage just because he got 1 year older? That doesn't make sense. Like, I can see him losing 1 speed or 2 agility, but like, why'd he lose 4 zone coverage? It doesn't make sense. Or even awareness. I've seen awareness go down. Like, if anything, you should just keep getting smarter every year. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Alright, and the next one, I put update the contract AI. We've seen it in the real NFL. Quarterbacks and D linemen and pass rushers and all that, they just keep getting paid more and more, and they just keep trying to one up each other, right? So why doesn't that happen in Madden? Like, I've seen, like, even people that are over 90 overall, if they're when they're asking for their second contract, they're not asking for enough. Like, they should be asking for like, if you're over 90 overall, you should be asking to be paid like a top guy, because that's what happens in the real NFL. Like, Jimmy G started 5 games, he's only like an 82 overall. He got paid the highest per year of any quarterback. And then Rodgers got one-upped him, and like Aaron Donald got paid. He got paid the most ever, and then Khalil Mack one-upped him and got paid even more. There should constantly keep going up and up, and that's how, like, you rarely ever see anyone even talk about having cap problems in the league, because it's just so easy to keep your top players for reasonable contracts. Yeah, it's just so easy to keep your top players for reasonable contracts, or sign players in free agency for top contracts. So, like, I mean, I know we do have a system in place in the league for that, but it's just, we shouldn't have to have rules in place for people to get realistic contracts. Yeah, I just don't think I just think they should update that to what real life players ask for and stuff like that. And then fourth, I have sliders. This is one that's really interesting. We have to always go through a ton of slider testing every year, and it makes no sense why we only have like 10 sliders that we can change. And it just makes no sense, because there's so much more. Like, why isn't there a zone coverage slider and a man coverage slider? It's just all wrapped into one coverage slider. And so, like, but if you wanted man coverage to be tighter, like if you were testing, zone coverage was good, but man needed to be tighter, you can't move the coverage rating up, because or else it will make zone coverage too good. But that's the other thing I wanted to preface this too. Why doesn't the slider 0 to 100 make it like actually make sense? Like, for, let's say, tackling, the tackle slider, right? Why add 0 if the tackle slider is 0, then no defender should be able to make a tackle. Like, that's just how it should be. And then at 100, they shouldn't be able to miss a tackle, no matter what their rating is. That's what makes sense. That's how it should be. It makes no sense that at 0, they still make tackles, and then at 100, they can still miss tackles. It just doesn't make sense. They should fix that so that we can actually get a decent, so that we can get a decent feeling about every rating. And then, yeah, like I said, there should be a zone coverage slider, a man coverage slider. For some reason, the tackling slider affects block shedding too. Like, it affects like half the defensive ratings. It affects like all of run defense if you mess with the tackle slider. It just makes no sense. They have to completely revamp sliders so that we can get a slider set that everyone likes. And it's easier to test and make sure we get a good slider. And then the last one, realistic injuries. I know a lot of people deal with injuries, but it's still not even a realistic, it's not even a realistic amount still. It's like honestly, I don't even have any injuries in the league right now. And I haven't had practically any injuries the entire season. But I mean, I know other people have had it, but it just needs to be fixed so that not every injury is just like a 6-week shoulder injury or anything. Like, that's the other problem. There should be lingering injuries. Like, if someone pulls their hamstring, they can still play, but their ratings are dipped a little bit, and it just hampers them the rest of the season if you keep playing them. And that should be the real major decisions in the the big decision injury come back from injury things. They should actually be a big decision. Like most of the time, it's like their strength drops by 20 points if it's an offensive lineman or something, and then their pass block drops by 10 points or something, and then their injury ratings is 67. It's like there's no point in bringing them back. Like you just give your guy double XP or whatever. So it's literally not a decision ever to actually bring them back. But yeah, like in real life, Doug Baldwin has been suffering or has been dealing with like a hamstring injury the entire season. He's missed like 2 or 3 games, and it's just been hampering him the entire season. You can tell that it's just been hampering his play because he hasn't been getting the same amount of targets. He hasn't been making people miss. Like early in the season, he missed like the first game or something, and then he came back, and then he made like 3 catches, and they all looked exact the same. He would just catch it and immediately fall down. He would just catch it while falling down, and it made no sense. Or no, it didn't. It made sense because he's dealing with a hamstring injury and he's not playing to his full potential. And it should be like that in the real game too. There should be more lingering injuries like that. And I don't see as many season-ending injuries. There shouldn't be like just so many, but there should be a few. And then I just feel like there's like just a ton of like shoulder tears that keep him out 5 to 6 weeks or something. And that's the majority of the injuries. Otherwise, and there's no like, I mean, obviously there's not concussions because the NFL prohibits EA from using that, but there should be more injuries that just keep people out 1 to 2 weeks and stuff like that. And that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna be coming out with the gameplay wish list too soon, and so look forward to that, and I'll see you guys later.